Now, Executive Suite with WPRI.com reporter Ted Nesi.
Welcome to Executive Suite. I'm Ted Nesi, always glad to have you with us. And today, later on in the show, we're going to hear from a growing company out of Cranston that's big in the healthcare packaging world, which is very important because, of course, you don't want your healthcare products brought to you in a way they haven't been properly packaged, and it's growing leaps and bounds. So we're going to hear from them and what they're up to and how they're expanding. But first, we're going to talk about something perfect for this pre-4th of July weekend here in 2017, beer. And we're going to talk about that with Jeremy Duffy, the co-founder of Isle Brewers Guild in Pawtucket, and Mark Hellendrung, who is the owner and president of Narragansett Beer. Gentlemen, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Ted.
So, Jeremy, I'm going to start with you. People at this point might have heard about Isle Brewers Guild, this complex you and your partners have put together up in Pawtucket, but they may think you're brewing your own beer. You have like a type of beer you're making, which isn't exactly what it is. You're sort of providing the platform for Mark and other companies to make the beer, right?
Absolutely. So, the idea came about 4 years ago. What we saw was really an interesting dynamic within the beer industry. $100 billion a year industry, but sort of growing 1 or 2% a year. But within the craft beer segment, it was growing 15% on average over the last 6 years. So with great success in the craft beer market came business problems. And that really had to do with capacity issues, human resource issues, capital issues. And so my partner, Devin Kelly, and myself developed this partnership brewery idea. And essentially what that is we are building a large-scale craft brewery. We bought a facility, 131,000 square feet.
Old mill building?
Old mill building that we're sort of going industrial 2.0 on. And we've put state-of-the-art equipment in it.
And talk about the equipment. I mean, what do you have to buy? How big is the operation to make beer? We've had Nick Garrison from Foolproof and Pawtucket on. It's a big operation to make beer.
It's definitely a different model compared to the other sort of craft breweries, mainly around the country almost. We have a 100-barrel brew house system, which is probably the 6th largest in New England. It is actually one of the largest American-made craft brew houses in the country as well. And we can go up to 150,000 barrels at max capacity, which is pretty staggering numbers. So what came with that, we probably spent about $5.5 million just on equipment. So we have 8 fermentation tanks to go with that brew house. That'll get us up to 60,000 barrels at that capacity. We have one 100-barrel, which would technically be the largest fermentation tank in Rhode Island, but we have 7 300s. And 300-barrel fermentation tanks equal about 100,000 glasses of beer.
So that's a lot. So don't drink all that at once.
Correct.
So how many breweries do you have in there right now?
Yeah, correct. So we have 5 partners right now.
And we're actually looking here on the table in
correct.
front of you. We have some examples. Yeah.
Correct. So the one that people know the most about, and we're really proud. Devin and I are both Rhode Islanders. Mark is a Rhode Islander. Bringing Narragansett Beer back was just a tremendous opportunity and feat to do that. We're very proud of them. We are actually showcasing, they've now produced 3 in packaging right now, and then multiple others are on the way. Mark can talk a little bit about that. But this was actually the first beer that we produced, which is aptly named It's About Time, that Mark can get into a little bit as well. Well played by the Narragansett team. But we have others as well. We have Newburyport Brewing Company out of Newburyport, Mass. We're doing 3 of their products right now. We have Devil's Purse out of Cape Cod, and just a young brewery. They're doing great stuff. They're playing in sort of lighter ABV alcohol volume with Kolsch and ESB, more European style ales. And then a really interesting play right here, and this we really talked about doing scale but also scope. And this would be in the alternative beverage category, which is it's a craft alcoholic ginger beer called Farmer Willie's, started out of Brown University, actually.
So it's quite a range here you've got going up there.
Yeah, correct.
So Mark, obviously Narragansett Beer needs no introduction on Rhode Island TV. We obviously used to have the ads running on Rhode Island TV, people remember, for beer. But Jeremy alluded to this, it actually wasn't brewed here for like more than 30 years until just recently when you formed this partnership, right? When did you actually start brewing beer in Rhode Island again as Narragansett?
So we did the first batch at the end of February, I think, right? And then canned it mid-March, and it was just, it was an epic moment to kind of finally bring it back. And as you alluded to, the last Narragansett beer on a full-scale basis in Rhode Island was brewed in the early 80s. So to bring that back was really a fulfillment of a promise. And
yeah, because you talked for a long time after because you revitalized the company over the last decade or so, but you kept talking about getting it back, doing some brewing in Rhode Island.
Yeah, and that was important. That was the most important thing that we could ever have committed to, right? And it became really just this collective effort of Rhode Islanders and New Englanders, and in every case was a brick in the building, so to speak, and just. I remember it was chilly in there that day, but it was great to just finally do it.
Talk about, Mark, as I said, this work you did to revitalize the brand after I think it was dormant for a time, right, before you took over?
It was still kicking around, but very.
It wasn't certainly not as visible as it's become since you took over. What was the key to sort of making it, not just taking it back? Was it just it needed energy behind it again, or have you guys had a specific sort of strategy to get Narragansett beer hot again?
Well, it was a couple things. I mean, first and foremost, we had to bring the beer back to its original recipe, and I did that with Bill Anderson, who was the last brewmaster in the Cranston brewery, and just a great guy. Sadly, passed away about a month ago. And but so he had the original recipe, and then we recreated all the packaging from different periods in our history, and then really just breathing life into it by having these conversations with beer drinkers, first in Rhode Island, then Massachusetts, Connecticut, and beyond. So it was just having that dialogue, and Narragansett was, all the way back to 1890, it was just kind of part of the community, right? And so it was important to reestablish the roots and the relationships and the conversation and just all those traditions that made the beer great so long ago.
I think the New York Times had a story that you'd become like the hot beer for hipsters for a little while in Brooklyn there.
Yeah, we're smoking it in Brooklyn and Philly and DC, and it really, it's funny, someone once said it, like, you almost need to become popular away from home before you can come home again, and it's amazing how much beer we sell there, but we sell a boatload here as well, so it's pretty cool.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about the booming beer business with Jeremy and Mark. Stick with us on Executive Suite. Welcome back to Executive Suite. I'm Ted Nisi. Later on in the show, we're going to talk to the CEO of Nelipak about the Cranston company. They do packaging, healthcare packaging especially, and they're growing. They're acquiring other companies. An interesting story. Right now, though, we're talking about the business of beer on this 4th of July weekend, and we were talking before the break about Mark about how Narragansett beer has seen growth all over the East Coast in different cities and stuff, places where they can't even say Narragansett necessarily. What is it? What's caused this shift, it seems, where craft beer has kind of come back? I mean, it doesn't seem that long ago that it was just the big national brands and a couple maybe, but now it seems all my buddies trade beer like baseball cards.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. I just was reviewing something, and so when I started in 2005, there were about 1,200 breweries in America, craft breweries, and today there are over 5,000. And they're all just small local breweries in cities and towns all across the country, really promoting craft beer and the impact on the economy and the different flavor styles. I mean, when you think back to 2000, it was largely just bland lagers, right? And today you've got sours and double IPAs and IPAs, and it just runs the gamut. And so I think it's brought excitement to beer, and it just continues to change.
Yeah, and builds on itself, maybe. Anything you'd add to that, Jeremy?
No, he's absolutely right. I mean, I can't believe when we came up with the concept 3.5 years ago, we didn't want to do our own brand because there was 3,000 breweries in the market. Now there's 5,000. But I just think, as Mark talked about sort of the local the fresh, the quality, the innovation around it is just absolutely exploding. I kind of call it the second wave. The first one came with Sierra Nevada and Anchor Steam and Sam Adams and Harpoon in the late 80s, early 90s, kind of subsided. This wave is completely different. It is just so many brands coming in, so many different unique products that it's really not going to be pulled back.
And people have been buying home brews, and they want to get into it themselves. It's a cultural thing.
A lot of these smaller brewers, that's how they started. Newburyport, their first hire was he was a home brewer that won the Sam Adams National Home Brewing Contest.
And it also seems like in Rhode Island, Pawtucket has kind of cornered the market now on being kind of the beer city of the state.
The mayor would love to hear you say that, absolutely. So, we were lucky. Originally, we were going to be in Providence, but unfortunately, that building was taken down by a fire, which is amazing. But we really landed in an incredible spot. And to be joining Crooked Current and Foolproof and The Bucket as where the fourth brewery is pretty significant. We're actually in 2 weeks going to start a Pawtucket beer tour just specifically for our breweries. So it's the ability to find great mill space with high ceilings, affordable rents, very close to city center Providence. It all works, and the water source is fantastic.
And Mark, so you're looking ahead now. You just, as he was saying, you've been brewing some new brews are coming out of there. What's next? What are you excited about for Narragansett in the coming months, coming years?
Well, I think we've got a great opportunity to really change the beer culture in Rhode Island, right? You go into other states, and it just seems like the local communities are a little bit ahead of where we are here in Rhode Island, and just with all the breweries that Jeremy mentioned, I look forward to this opportunity to just talk to, we're in 50% of the bars and restaurants in the state, right? Which is great. That's a big number. But when I look at it, that means we're only in business in one side of the street, right? Yeah. So talking to bar owners and restaurant owners and liquor store owners, like, listen, this stuff is made right here, right down the road. We're in your community. We're eating dinner in your place. We're buying goods at your stores. Let's work together and promote just Rhode Island and what's great about the state. So.
And how's it going for Narragansett as a business after you just hit, I think, 12 years since you took over and, as I said, kind of revitalized things? I mean, how is it as a business?
Well, it's pretty amazing. We're the 36th largest brewer in the country, which I think surprises a lot of Rhode Islanders. And it's great. I mean, things have changed. Jeremy alluded to the change, and it's changing quickly, and we continue to grow. We're up about 15% this year, and so it's fun. Between the Del Shandy and really what's awesome are the new craft beers coming out of Pawtucket with the It's About Time IPA, the Summertime Citra, and then our Love Craft series is kind of where we get a little bit crazy.
And it's an amazing statistic, by the way, and it's a great Rhode Island success story. I mean, Mark bought this very dormant brand, right? How many it was on life support, definitely. I mean, how many barrels were they producing the first year?
We're doing 5,000 cases, and this year we'll do about a million five.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's an incredible to get to that number is remarkable. So Narragansett and what they're doing, and the lager is taken off nationally, and now our job and the partnership is to really kind of help on the craft side, and some of the liquids coming out of the brewery are fantastic.
And only about 30 seconds left, but people can go to Isle Brewers, right, Jeremy?
Absolutely. So now that we're online with our production, we've opened up it's a temporary tap room, but it is in the brew house, and you can be surrounded by all the equipment. We have very traditional craft brewery hours. We're open on Thursday and Friday, 4 to 9, and then Saturday from noon to 9, Sunday noon to 6. And we've already had 3,000 people through the brewery in the last 3 months, and so it's really kind of gaining momentum, and it's just great to see.
Is it meeting your expectation, what you hoped?
Yeah, I mean, we're always, we can always have more. It's like Mark's analogy about the other 50%, right? No, we've been really excited about the reception that people have had by experiencing and be part of a working brewery, and really happy that Narragansett's back in Rhode Island, and all of that. So we're thrilled, and we're just continuing to gain momentum on that.
All right, you want a pint? You got to head to Pawtucket right now. So before you do that, stick with us on Executive Suite. Thank you both for coming. We're going to be talking to Mike Kelly. He's the president and CEO of Nelipak. Stick with us on Executive Suite. Welcome back to Executive Suite. I'm Ted Nisi, and very pleased now to be joined by Mike Kelly. Mike is the president and CEO of Nelipak, a growing company in Cranston. You may not have heard of them, but they do some interesting stuff. We're going to talk about that. Though Mike was saying a little tough to follow the beer guys with packaging.
Absolutely, yeah.
Packaging, very important for beer, though. Got to get it in the cans, got to get it in the glasses,
That's
right?
true.
So
This
it
is
matters
true.
in every industry, your line of work. So before we get into some of the details on the company, let's just get people up to speed. Just the thumbnail sketch. What do you do at Nelipak?
Yeah, so we produce custom-designed rigid packaging that's used to house medical devices and pharmaceutical products. So think of things like orthopedic implants or cardiac catheters, ophthalmic lenses, any kind of medical device that's typically used in a hospital setting. Nelipak produces rigid packaging through a process called thermoforming that's used in those types of products.
Rigid, does that mean it's got to really hold on to it tight? I guess that's
rigid
obvious,
is
but
it's the package itself is rigid. So the plastic's rigid versus flexible.
Okay.
So if you think about flexible packaging versus rigid, yeah, this is rigid.
because you have to protect what's in
That's
there
right.
so carefully, right?
That's right, exactly.
So this is kind of the stuff, if you opened up a closet at the hospital or wherever they keep this kind of thing, you have put the stuff in the packaging to make sure it's there and ready for the surgery or
Yes,
whatever.
exactly. You wouldn't see our brand, but you'd see some of the who's who of medical device and pharmaceutical manufacturers.
So it must be, I have to think it's a little different, joking about the beer packaging, but I mean, there's rules for everything, it seems like, in America. But I have to think, when you have a medical product, this must be intensely regulated about exactly how that catheter gets to the hospital and what condition it's in when they take it out and put it in somebody.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we pride ourselves on is our focus. So there are companies large and small that do thermoform packaging, rigid packaging. Our focus is on medical. And so really that's appealing to our customers. We produce all of our packaging in certified clean rooms. So there's clean room garments that our employees wear to produce the packaging. And then we also have a certification that won't mean much to your audience, but it's called ISO 13485, which is really meaningful to our customers and speaks to a certain quality standard with which we produce the products.
We always have, ISO's always dropped by our manufacturing guests, and people, we know it's important even if we don't understand it
Right.
fully. So Nelipak was actually founded soon after World War II in the Netherlands.
That's right.
Now you're here in Cranston. How do you get from being Dutch to being Rhode Island?
Good question. So Nelipak, up until about 3 years ago, there were 4 sites. It was originally founded in the Netherlands shortly after World War II. It was a contract packaging company. The owners there in the Netherlands over time grew more and more into medical and had this, the original owner was a guy named Frank Nelissen. It's kind of an interesting story. So Frank was the son of the original owner. He really had this vision for medical packaging that we should make packaging in the same clean environment that our customers are making medical devices. So he really launched that vision through a series of acquisitions. I won't bore you with all those, but we migrated to the U.S. About 3 years ago, Nelipak was bought by a private equity firm, and since then, one of the core strategies for us has really been to expand in the Americas. So we set up headquarters in Cranston, Rhode Island, and since that time we've grown from 4 sites globally. We now have 10 sites globally and 8 sites in the Americas.
And whenever we talk to companies that'll be, there's some bolt-on acquisitions happening and
Right.
private equities involved, usually it seems like they could put the headquarters in any one of a number of places. Was there a reason Cranston had an appeal? You said, yeah, it's a good place to be our central hub.
Yeah, we wanted it to be, we wanted it to be a U.S.-based company. Cranston was the largest manufacturing site, and it's also, as you know, this area is really a home to many medical device companies, so it made sense for us to locate our headquarters in Cranston.
Be close to your customers.
That's right.
In that sense, yeah. So how is business, and how big is your operation at this point?
So business is great. As I mentioned, globally we're growing double digits, and globally right now we have 10 sites where we operate from, 2 sites in Europe, 8 sites in the Americas. We've grown through acquisition over the past really 3 years, but beyond growing through acquisition, our organic growth has been really impressive too in the past 2 years. And we're really doing that by focusing on our existing customers. So I mentioned it earlier, but our largest customers are kind of the who's who of medical device and pharmaceutical manufacturers. And by expanding our manufacturing footprint, getting closer to them, listening to their needs, kind of basic blocking and tackling, we've been able to really grow our share of wallet with those major customers. So yes, a lot of our growth has come through acquisition, but our organic growth has been very strong as well.
So healthcare and the healthcare sector, a constant topic of conversation. Putting aside the politics of it, just
Yes.
the growth of the industry, do you rise and fall based on whether there's robust growth? It feels like, I guess, healthcare is always growing, or is it also, trying to box out some of your competitors and take a larger share of what's there, whether the whole industry is growing or not?
Yeah, I think the whole industry is really favorable growth trends. Again, taking the politics out of it, but just the demographics, right? Baby boomers like myself are getting more knee implants. They're more active, right? More knees, hips implants, heart surgery, God forbid. But there's a lot, right? The aging demographic really is producing a lot of growth in the industry. If you look beyond that and you look at healthcare in general, competitive nature, yep. But I think we're uniquely positioned in that our focus is really 100% medical. There's other people that do rigid thermoform packaging, but really no one else is 100% focused in the medical arena. And I think that really gives us an advantage and differentiates us versus our competitors.
So it sounds like you're looking to keep the focus on me. You're not thinking, well, we could apply this over in this industry or that. It's important to stick with that focus.
Yes, that's our plan, is definitely to remain a medically focused rigid package manufacturer.
So do you see big opportunities in the coming years? Is it kind of a steady as she goes and you get growth off of that? Is there anything you guys are eyeing carefully that you think will be big for you?
No, we've been working really intensely with our customers in the past few years, trying to understand their needs. There's a few innovations we're working on that we think can further differentiate us from our competitors. As you know, we've done 2 big acquisitions in the past year. So we have a lot of work just to execute on the integration of those acquisitions as well.
And how much are the companies, I won't name them because I know how it is with all your NDAs and stuff, but is it the company comes to you and says, we're going to develop this, here's what it looks like, make us the packaging, or do you go to them and say, hey, we have an idea on a new way to package your implant or something?
Yeah, traditionally the business model is one of our customers' packaging engineers, either they're doing a redesign or they have a new device. They're aware of Nelipak, they would come to one of our design engineers through our salesperson and say, I want to redesign this package or create a new package, and that's how it's worked. We're really trying to change that up a bit by stepping up our game in terms of our design capability and trying to really understand the clinical environment more deeply, go to our customers with, hey, here's something you should think about. Here's a new design or a new material to package this product that maybe create a better platform for you, for your customers. So it's a mix. Certainly the traditional model is customers coming to us, and then we're trying to push the envelope on being more proactive for our customers.
So only about a minute left. I always like to ask company leaders when they're on here, any advice you'd have for state leaders as they want companies like yours to grow, to add jobs, to expand their plants? What advice would you give to state leaders as they think about economic development?
Yeah, I think being aggressive to, you think about the medical device market around Boston, around New England in general. I think being aware of that, trying to aggressively recruit companies that maybe they're not even medical device companies, but like ourselves, they're on the periphery. They're suppliers to medical device companies. It's a big market, and I think looking to them, giving them tax incentives or other benefits to bring jobs to New England, and I think that could be a big impact.
All right, so you won't see Nelipak on the device, but you'll be glad that it was packaged properly if they're sticking it into you in a hospital surgery. Mike Kelly, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks, Ted.
And thank you for being with us on this week's edition of Executive Suite. Remember, you can catch every episode online on WPRI.com or on iTunes as a podcast. We'll see you back here next week.
Bye.